Which ethnic groups saw the most growth in America since 2000? Are most people still getting married and having kids, or are they opting to remain single and childless? And are baby boomers still the most influential demographic group, or has someone else moved to the top of the heap? We'll have the answers to those questions and more as we look at the changing face of America right now on It's Your Call. The results of the 2010 census are in, and they confirm that the U.S. has seen significant changes in the last 20 years. What are they, and how will they affect you? Well, we're going to find out on this edition of It's Your Call. Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lynn Doyle. Our topic this hour, the changing face of America, and boy, is it changing. According to the 2010 census, there have been major shifts in ethnic populations, huge growth in the southern and western part of the country, a decline in big city population, and tremendous changes in our attitudes toward marriage, kids, and even what constitutes a family these days. So what does all of this mean to you and me? Well, apparently a lot. The census tells us that we're going to be experiencing huge political, cultural, and societal changes in the coming years. If you want to comment on what we're going to find out here today, or you have questions yourself, you can start emailing me right now at lynn@lynndoyle.net. To get some insight into this, joining us first this hour with her analysis of these most recent results is Dr. Lindsay M. Howden, a Census Bureau statistician for the Age and Special Populations Branch. Lindsay, thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, hello.
Well, we're glad to see that you're with us here today. First, tell us what the importance of completing the census every 10 years is.
Well, the census provides very important information about the composition of the United States, including how the population has changed over time.
So what of significance did we learn from this most recent census, which was completed at the end of 2010?
Well, specifically, my department looks at the age composition in the United States, and we can see evidence that the population of the United States is experiencing aging overall. When we look at the median age of the population, which is sort of the midpoint in age, in 2010, the median age was 37.2 years, and this is an increase of about 2 years from what we saw in 2000, and it's a new high in the median age for the United States.
So does that mean that people are living longer?
That is part of what it means. One of the major contributing factors to the increase in the median age is the aging of the baby boom population, which, as you know, is the largest birth cohort that we've seen. So in 2010, when the census was taken, the baby boomers were between the ages of 46 and 64. So that large birth cohort is pulling the median age of the population older.
Well, I am part of that baby boomer generation, I'll admit it. So what does it mean to us as a nation that we're aging?
Well, what I can speak to is just the overall demographic trends that we're experiencing. So there's a lot of other people that would be interested in talking about more about what that means for us. But I can tell you that we do definitely see that evidence of aging, and given the demographic trends we see, we expect that to continue for some time, that overall aging trend.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that aging trend coming up, but right now we want to say thank you, Dr. Howden, for being with us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. Again, if you have questions or comments about the U.S. Census, you can email me right now at lynn@lynndoyle.net. Now, for more insight on our aging population, please meet our guest. Dr. Alan Glicksman is Director of Research and Evaluation at the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging. He is also a fellow with the Gerontologic Society of America. Also joining us is Dr. Michael G. Zay. He's a futurist. I'd love to know what that is, a sociologist and a professor in the School of Business at Montclair State University. He's also the author of Ageless Nation, The Quest for Super Longevity and Physical Perfection. Can't wait to read that one. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. So, is it true? Are we aging? and are we doing it very, very well?
Well, I don't know about the rest of everyone, but most people are getting older every day. So in that sense, we are. Yeah, it is an aging population, but it doesn't mean, when we say aging, yes, they are physically getting older, but I think we're redefining, and the boomers are at the forefront of it. I think we will look back historically and see that the boomers essentially redefined what it meant to get older, not old, but older, and they've been doing this throughout their lives. And now that a lot of them are reaching their late 40s and their 50s, they are essentially living a much more active life. Many of them don't want to retire, and I think they're at the frontiers at this point of a demographic change.
I like the idea of 60 being the new 40. What do you think about that?
I think 60 is the new 40 for some people. I think the boomers are only a subset of the whole post-war generation, and that the real change is the incredible diversity among older adults. You have very poor and very rich, educated, poorly educated, in poor health and in good health, as well as greater diversity in ethnicity and in faith and in national origin and living arrangements and in everything you can imagine. So all the diversity we're seeing in the younger population, we're seeing in the older population. We got a lot of happy, healthy boomers, and we got a lot of people who are frail and sick and poor, and they're all part of the mix.
So what do we learn from the census? Not only that we're aging and that there's this diversity, but what can we take away from it to help that aging population?
Well, we can take away that certain people seem to be doing pretty well. And we can ask, why are those people doing well? And we go beyond kind of what everybody can point to, education and, income. Sometimes it happens a lot to do with the kind of neighborhood you live in. Whether you've got neighbors that you can spend time with, whether you can get out and walk, whether you've got a walkable neighborhood, a neighborhood that you can enjoy yourself in, to give you the opportunity for physical activity. So there are a lot of things we can learn.
Yeah, no, I agree that I think environment is an important factor that plays into people living longer and living better, and I agree with that. The neighborhood concept, which seems to reflect very well the findings that people, as they live longer, the people who are living longer, one of the commonalities is that they're socially involved. They are very well integrated into some. It could be a neighborhood group. It could be a basis of faith. It could be a village. And I think one of the things that it tells us is that, in our modern industrial society, we don't just live in villages. We operate and live in our workplace. The workplace is a place that we've developed friendships. Some of our strongest friendship arrangements, our sense of affiliation, comes from the organizations we belong to, which might suggest to people that they ought not to think about retiring so quickly.
Well, in this day and age, they don't really have the choice. Well, sometimes they have to work longer because they're living longer. And initially we thought, oh, well, we'll retire at a certain age. Now that age seems to be bumped back somewhat.
Yes, and that longevity, what I like to call super longevity, has really kind of come out of left field. Most people who are 80 or 90, if you ask them, did you expect to live this long? They probably didn't, because most of the things that are keeping them alive at this point probably didn't even exist. So at this point, it becomes incumbent on people now to start to make this gradual change into a very long life.
It used to be that women always outlived men. Now men are living longer, but women are still outliving them, aren't they? Women
are still outliving men, and we don't fully understand why. We do know that for men, for example, there are different predictors. So for men, getting married young and staying married to the same woman is a predictor of long life. And for women, it doesn't make a difference whether they're married or not. So there are all kinds of factors. We look at smoking, we look at marriage, we look at all kinds of things, and we really haven't sorted it all out.
But one thing we do know is that America is living longer. That's one way that we are changing. And of course, there are many other ways that we're going to talk about in our next segment, including the different ethnic groups that are growing. As we do go to break, though, we want to give you an opportunity to ask questions or tell us your concerns about the findings. If you want to know what all of this means to you, email me right now at lynn@lynndoyle.net. You can also find us, as always, on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back right after this.